Today, I'm pleased to announce we've come out of the AI Workstation. We've built that out, as you've seen, in terms of a marketing letter. We built out the AI for nonprofits. We built the bots. We built the knowledge base. So we actually have compiled a dossier, a portfolio of works. So this is great. We just got to do a better job at packaging and showing the value to others. So that's one of my projects that I need to do. That's why I always ask about, so what? We created this, now what? I want to be able to show others. So based on that fact, Pastor Freeman, he's on the call today. He basically has been working on a project which has several components. And so because of that, we are going to develop a suite of products and services that can be prototype, documented, and ultimately monetized, not just for this project, but as a repeatable model for future clients. And that's the importance of what I want to share with you today. Like, why is this important? Because it's important because we need to understand what makes a successful enterprise. And that's repeatability, and that's documentation, and that's everybody understanding what's going on. And that really is about order. It really is. And so we want to create a discipline in our process. As we have these sessions, we want to create a discipline in our process. So we want to start documenting. And so we want to call it, we even in the terminology that we use, a product build out. And so the product build out means we're not just creating Pastor Freeman's book or play. We're designing a whole ecosystem around that in terms of the main book, Beneath the Veil, that he wants to do. And he has documentation of that. The stage play, In My Shoes, the study guides, the instructor guides, the children's adaptations, audio, digital tools, all those can come out of this project. It is just a matter of him prioritizing those things and letting us know what he wants to do. The thing that I learned in the military is order. It is about designing, ideating, the OODA loop, observe, orient, decide, but also mocking up a prototype to quickly test ideas and gather feedback. For example, if we wanted to get something out there for Pastor Freeman to create a bot, ask Pastor Freeman questions about the play. Tell me about the stage play. Who are the characters? I mean, we can quickly create that just to start introducing products in the ecosystem. That's because we have the knowledge base already created. We got the content to do that, and we proved that model. These are just suggestions. I'm trying to set the cadence of this AI workstation on Thursdays and how we nominate, select, and build out someone's project. But also at the same time, some of this work we'll be doing on Thursdays, and some of us require special sessions, and some of it may even require us to bring in experts. So that may require, additional, fees and costs. But we also need to document that where we have those costs. And so, because that's part of the product build out as we go along. And so that's why documentation is important. So we come to a step to say, hey, this step, is going to entail X, Y, Z. We got to bring in this person, that person. We're going to automate this process. So we talk a lot about automations. And those are sort of things that, will probably entail virtual assistant time and content creation time. All those things come into play, but we don't know what we don't know. Pastor Freeman has a ministry. And let me just say, this is about this is this is not just he has a ministry. There's also a platform that can be enterprise, a platform to collaborate, to communicate, to share, as well as monetize. It could be all of those things as one, as well as further the ministry and the gospel. That is the important thing to Pastor Freeman. And he's able to do that because the data is going to be, he's going to control the data in the database and the platform. So it's only going to spit out good things because he's only going to program it with good things. And that is the beauty about the AI workstation and building out his platform. So the next steps, so over the next few sessions, we'll be seeking, I'll finish up here, and hopefully I've explained the ecosystem. Actually, I have a presentation, a briefing, and I didn't put you guys through that, a formal presentation, but I'll share it with the group. I'll send the link in there as Pastor Freeman is speaking. I'll put the link in there to the actual presentation. and it has what I basically just talked about in the next steps. It has the areas that you can participate in, or things that you think you can maybe bring to the project, and any discussion about the overall project for the AI workstation for the working groups. And so we're going to let Pastor Freeman come on, talk about, briefly, give you 5 minutes, Pastor Freeman, if you can get in the words about this product and what I have just presented here today, if you like the concept based on what we discussed earlier.
Yes, thank you, Danny. Thank you, Joel, for the opportunity. Just a little bit of the passion and I believe what the Lord has placed in my heart. I've always written. I've always been a part of writing. Didn't know why, I just enjoyed it. I have so much material that I've just written. I've written plays and I have produced plays, but my passion was more than a play. I've always, in my spirit, wanted to put on a production, something that would impact people, something that would make people want to move, to change, to make a difference. I never wanted to put on a mom and pop showing, but something that would move people. I've always wanted to present something that would have the thread of the principles of what I believe in, which is Jesus Christ, my Savior, being quote unquote religious. So that's been my path of anything usually that I write. I've written short stories and I have probably about 12 to 14 actual short stories that are designed for, like, let's say about a 45-minute reading on each story, each having some type of thread pointing to the Lord, not necessarily without you knowing it. The audience that I wanted to reach was not only those of believers, but those of non-believers, to present something that would have people to think and ask questions, would have people to ponder. So with that in mind, that's what the short stories consist of. Just giving a few topics of the ones I wanted to put in the first book would be Look for the Booger, Me and My Mind, Before the Throne of Grace, A Glimpse of Heaven, The Mama Rose Story, Mistaken Identity, Open Your Eyes. And so those are just some of the topics, and those I wanted it intriguing enough that people could read it and not think it's necessarily religious, but something that will meet them where they are. With that, we're creating a study guide with those stories that you could actually go off of the story, have a study guide that would propose more questions and go deeper. With that, also, created a 60-day challenge for groups that may want to go in and have a 60-day challenge to the same subject, whatever that it may be. And also created as an instructor's guide that somebody could have with connected to those stories, an instructor's guide that they can lead a study. With that also, I started on a children's book off of the same subject. I have a nephew that he's a professional in illustrations, and I met with him and he agreed that however we wanted to do it, he would create illustrations for a children's book. And also Danny pricked my spirit because I'd always wanted to have an audio book. And a few weeks ago, Danny mentioned that, and I got excited. I don't know how any of that works, but it was something that connected with that. And finally, off of two of the stories in the short story, one is the Mama Rose story and the Mistaken Identity, have I created the play In My Shoes, which simply goes with a background of a street hustler meeting up with a young lady that's a Christian, and they kind of fall in love, and she challenges him to walk in her shoes, not as a female, but as a Christian. And the story takes a storyline in that way. And so that's basically the first structure. I have other plays that's written, but this is the first start at my direction. I'll turn it back over to Joe.
That was beautiful, Iman. Okay, that was beautiful, Pastor Freeman. And we've sent out the actual formal presentation, which should show up. I'm also trying to send out the summary of the ecosystem of the actual documents that Pastor Freeman was talking about. And so let's see if I could share my screen real quickly.
Well, let's go ahead and let Keisha ask her question while you do that. Go ahead. You can still go ahead and share your screen. Go ahead, Keisha.
I
Okay.
love it.
Oh, yeah, your hand was up. That's why I asked. Okay.
Oh,
What
I'm
is...
sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. You're fine. We want you to participate, so it's good.
So, as Pastor Freeman so eloquently put in his message to us about his passion and his vision, my job is to give it structure in terms of putting it into a product or actual service in order to package it. And that's what the AI workstation is all about. And so that is what we're going to be doing. We're trying to take a concept and bring it to reality. And you're going to witness this process. I mean, you've seen it before, but now I need for you to start documenting the process because otherwise we're just having fun. We're trying to create a repeatable process because I don't want to be doing this next year. This process should be automated. This process should be repeatable. It should be recordable in terms of how do you create creative content for a Christian work of art. It's like, okay, that's a very niche offering, but guess what? You have a prototype, you have a model. How many times do you need to resell this package in the future? 100, 1,000, 5,000 times? It's there for in perpetuity. So that's the point I'm trying to make. What I have broken this down to, the core products is I'm creating the ecosystem. And this is what they teach you in 1000X AI, if you ever with those guys, is to develop, if you follow Terrence McMahon, this is all coming from the concept of the people who have done this. They made millions doing it. It's developing the ecosystem. And this is what Dan and I bring to the table because he's also versed in developing the ecosystem. And so it's not something that I'm Joel Hill is making up. So I just want to assure you that these are well-established concepts and models. We just need to follow them. If we can do that, then I think it's great. We'll be successful. Yeah, that's my goal. And so the core products are the book, Beneath the Veil, and then he wants to do the 60-day challenge guides. He wants to do the study guides. He wants to do instructor guides. And then those are the book products. Now, the stage play products, he has the content for the full-length stage play script. We already have the, formatted. We just got to clean it up and start marketing the product to people who would be interested in putting it on. So we have to think about that concept. And so that's the stage play product, is developing the marketing script. We have the play. Now we're looking for people who may want to promote it, people who want to donate to it, people who want to sponsor it. So it just depends. What product do we need to develop to help him do that? And that's all part of this ideation process that we need to go through. So we have that product ready to go. Not only are we going to simplify the process, because when it's time to put this thing on, we control the environment. So if we had to put it on a small venue, we ask the AI to create, based on this stage play, the best, the cheapest, most cost-effective staging. And so those are just, I'm thinking, I'm in the weeds a little bit, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of all the things that can come out of, of having a repeatable product and process and documentation. And then he wants to go ahead and do the audiobook. We're going to do it, wow. We have an audiobook creator in the AI workstation. Wow, that's awesome. All we need to do now is get the script, upload it. Now he has a product we can start selling already. We just got to be in position. We just have to prioritize it. He wants to adopt it to a children's book. Yeah, well, we're going to ask one of the apps to do that, to develop it in the children's book. But that's, again, he can do it himself or he can pay somebody to do it. It just depends. He may want to get us to outsource certain things, and that's possible. And that's okay. But what I'm laying out is using the IW workstation and a repeatable process to develop this creative content with the AI workstation. And so this is a use case. You guys are participating in a use case that could be part of the marketing process in the future. Now, because Pastor Freeman has an actual product, we're going to create education, community engagement kits and products. We can create the AI-powered chatbot for Pastor Freeman. We can create the Pastor Freeman app based on his daily scripture prompts and routines. These are all products out of the ecosystem that we're developing. This is how I want you to be thinking about your ecosystem too, or whatever product you're building out. Use this as a model. So we can go on and on. I'm trying to drop this product. I think I sent this to you, the group. I think I sent it to you. That's what we're trying to do. So you guys have that. Let me know if you don't have it. But Pastor, does that capture everything?
Yes.
What you want to do?
Yes, sir. Yes, it does. And I'm excited.
Let me hear some thoughts from the group. Keisha, anything?
No, I'm excited for him as well. I know you guys are going to do a great job. The whole project sounds exciting. I really don't have too much experience in that field, but I'm here for it. And, I'm going to go through the rest of the document to see if there's anything that I can suggest while you guys go along.
Do you have any life experience, Keisha?
You said life
Yeah.
experience?
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Then you're an expert. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You would be valuable as well as because the audience, I don't want to limit the audience because really it's not about me, it's about the message. And your input would be valuable because you have to be honest with, is this something that would excite you? Would it appeal to you? Would it be something you'd be interested in? Because at the end of the day, it's about reaching the masses with a message of hope.
Okay.
I can see Deidre all in her, Pastor Freeman.
Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Really don't.
The fact that you agreed tells me everything.
Yeah, that if you don't know that, that's a person that's in the play that's getting the young man that's in the hood to show him a different way, a different light, a different life, a more abundant life. And that's the challenge. And so your spirit brings me to that person.
Wow, that's where those life experiences come from because I was definitely in a similar situation. My story is like a little crazy. I don't want to like dive into it, especially in that subject. Yes, I definitely have the life experiences.
And that's valuable on the subject. That's valuable because that's what I love to do. I love to take stories and tell a story where it will resonate with others. So many things that we go through that we believe we're the only ones, and it's a whole body, it's a whole nation out there that not only can identify, but when someone is an overcomer, want to see the results of victory. And we don't do that too well of showing the victory out of coming from something that looks like defeat. And so I get excited when those are able to tell those stories because they're so valuable out here now. People are walking hopeless and helpless and, they don't have any direction, and so, yeah, that it's important just to let you know.
Yeah, a lot of times when I do tell some of my story, people are kind of like, wow, because I had two boys and I was their father. And when the kids were like 3 and 4 years old, he was taken to prison and sentenced to 25 years to life and left me as a single parent. And oh my God, the struggles that I went through, but overcame is just a roller coaster of emotions. After staying and going back and forth to the prisons and taking the kids every weekend, we wound up getting a divorce probably about 8 years ago. And when he came out, I think it was 2 years ago, we still like the best of friends. Me and his wife, we talk and everything. But a lot of people don't understand our relationship. It's like we grew up together. I had to put my hopes and dreams on a back burner because I was a wife, a mom, and I had to take care of two kids. It was just a lot going on. Fast forward to today, we're like the best of friends and we have family holiday time and it's all of us because it's not about the past and like he's married to somebody else. It's more about the family, keeping the family together. So that's my current story right now. And I'm just bouncing back from everything and trying to make it through. But I made it. I'm here.
And you're going to prosper through because you understand that it's bigger picture. It's about family and relationships and having those mended and what's fractured. Congratulate you on that and I applaud you on that and honor you on that. And you keep on moving forward because God's got greater for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
What I appreciate, Keisha, is you actually sharing your testimony with us, because I'm thinking this is more than just a business session meeting here. There's purpose. And it resonated with me because this is what Pastor Freeman and I, we actually had this conversation this morning about the AI workstation and the purpose of my concept behind it. And he's here to testify to this. The fact that I said it's about helping people create wealth so they can stay at home and homeschool their children and take care of their families using the AI workstation to create streams of income so that parent can stay home and take care of their children. They don't have to go out there. We actually discussed that. That's why it's so important that we develop and document and make priority of what we're doing in this group, in this workstation, because we have all the tools that we need. God has given us the tools to build the ark. Okay, so that's where we are, and so we got the tools. What are we going to do with them? And so basically, he's just saying, this is renewing me, because at one point I was ready to step away from this whole thing, because I'm like, what are we doing? What are we building? What are we selling? And we're selling more than just, we're selling, people an ability to make an income, to digital transformation, using the AIW products, workstation, and tools, and learning and leveraging and learning how to launch them during these sessions. And that's the importance of this thing. And so Pastor Freeman has brought us a project. Now, you're just as important to the process and critical to everything else because of your insight and what you just shared. So everything to me means everything has a purpose. And so that right there was powerful. And so I'm going to make sure that you get Pastor Freeman's telephone number so that you can reach out to him directly. He's a great counselor, by the way. If you ever
Okay.
Trust me, I use him as, okay, full disclosure. He don't know this, but I use him as my personal pastor. So it's a personal issue. Really, I'm serious. I think everybody should have one. I need to bounce something off somebody. I can't think of anybody who I would call first.
Okay.
Anyway, there he's back.
Yes.
Hey, Pastor Freeman, would you mind giving exchange of phone numbers with Keisha?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I would never mind. Yeah, I can give it to her now if that's okay. 240 606 9146.
Okay, got it.
All right. So I've said a lot. I've put up there, what we're hoping to do. Now we got to talk to the wizard. Hey, Danny, did you, if you want to go through that presentation, that's fine. But it lays it out there again, but in terms of all the products and everything, and you can give your assessment in terms of what needs to be done. So if you just want to just walk through it that way, it's like, hey, is this feasible? Is this feasible? We have to prioritize this. This is doable. We can start here. Nope, nope, nope. Yeah. Okay. Does that make sense?
All righty. Let's see if I find it. There we go. All right. So got it there. So, all right. Let's make it a little bigger. Oops.
You can go ahead and skip that slide. Yeah.
Okay.
But that just talks about the prototyping. So what I'm trying to do is work with a purpose to identify first. And that's before we put a bunch of energy into something, we need to ask ourselves, why are we doing it? Okay, Danny, go ahead. Next slide. So this is the product build out. So does this look, everything in here is what I talked about. The main book, stage play, and supplementary products. But the supplementary product is the back end stuff, the automations. We want to make sure we think about automations. For example, if someone developing a CRM system so he can start tracking the analytics. All that stuff needs to be built in up front. This also expands the automation tool, Danny, that you love so much. Hey, there's the challenge. And let's automate this process while we're doing it. And let's not just build the product, but be thinking about in parallel the back end. Okay. So it's an ecosystem approach. And that's what we're trying to think about as we build this thing out in order to offer a diverse range of product offerings. You know, the days are over when you can just think about, oh, the book first, then this second, then this third. Basically, you can have it all if you do the hard work up front. Okay, you can go to the next.
I think the concept for Pastor is you have your core anchor product that you then actually have two core anchor products. And then from there, you build it into use the AI infrastructure to, of course, help you create the first two anchor products. And then from there, you use the different apps within the platform to allow you to continue to grow the ecosystem. So I think it makes perfect sense.
Okay, thanks. Next slide. Danny, how do we do this as a group other than, and we record the sessions, we have the transcripts, but how do we, and so I want to have that automated to drop it into a knowledge base. So as we build all this goes into a knowledge base somewhere so that we can capture, I call tacit data. People don't spend time enough of analyzing the data they already created. I want to be able to capture data that's already been created. Don't know how to do that, but this is where I want to start.
Well, first of all, as you mentioned, we do have the recording and we also have the transcripts. So we can use the transcripts if we want to use it to train up any kind of AI personality or the bots. We can throw that into the knowledge base directly from the video transcript. So as we kind of develop these SOP and we walk through this, you can have the AI document it, and then you can say, okay, here are the 5 video recording transcripts. Create an SOP for the process that we just went through, right? So that would mean you have to make sure you record the individual working sessions as you focus in on specific pieces of it. And then you just have the AI take those transcripts and convert them to SOPs for you so that then you can say, okay, here's an SOP, and then let's go ahead and document it further from there, expand upon that documentation. So you get something that, as you say, replicable.
Okay.
And so that would be a couple of ways. And then, of course, you can have the AI take the summaries from the transcripts and create specific things like the guides and things that you're going to be working on.
So here's my pet peeve, my problem, and the fourth thing on there is about product descriptions. So we got input, we input content into the AIW, and then the output is what? So every product needs to have a description, but let's reverse engineer that. How did we create that product? Which AIW tools did we use? So this is something that, AI could do. So in the future, we got to create descriptions of the actual tool, its capability, in order to link it to this actual output. I know that sounds crazy, maybe. I don't know if that does or not. But this is the first step, is the documentation, the manipulation of the data.
I think that the key thing is trying to make it perfect. You'll never get it done. So you have to combine the documentation of the events, but you also have to be practical. And here's the 3, 4, 5 targets that we're shooting for, and here's the time frame we want to accomplish it, and let's get it done. Building of the product descriptions and so on and so forth, right? So what I'm saying is we actually have to do the work as well. So we don't never want to lose sight of that.
Before we talk monetization, I just want to also the importance of product descriptions, but also using the same language. And I want us to be on the practice that we start using the same terminology for the apps, for the output, or for the process. And I don't know what that is, but when I say, let's mark this spot in terms of a definition, we need to do that in order to, I call it McDonald's process, or Chick-fil-A the process. They have very good systems, don't they? Very good systems.
You have to remember that when you're doing projects and you're doing things like this, you have different personality types, right? So you have visual learners, you have people who hear things and learn that way. You've got people who are very organized and disciplined in their approach to projects. And then you have people who just say, I'm just going to do it and then I'll figure it out as I go along. So just be aware as you make all of this that you're going to have different personality types. And so you want to make your SOPs and your descriptions and everything appealing to your different types of learners so that you don't leave anybody out. In other words, just be aware of it. That's all I'm pointing out.
Well, so what you just did was when we were ready to create that product, you inherently embed that into a prompt, what you just said, considering, act as a blah, blah, blah. So you reminded us that it gets down to the product creation, content creation, the actual prompt in terms of what you want to create, the new content. So now, but once you do that, and if we do it correctly, then we have something of value. Okay, we have something of value. If something that means we've created a niche product, faith-based community for people, who want to buy something off the shelf. Either it's new play, and I could see marketing this around to all the churches in the area. Here it is. Here's what it costs to put on the production, and blah blah blah. But not only that, this is the first step in the ecosystem because you develop a diverse suite of products and services that can be, I'm going to say, monetized as well as evangelized. How you like that, Pastor Freeman?
I like it. It's
I
good.
So that's what it's all about. I mean, we're not trying to get rich. We just have to say the ministry requires funding. It requires resources, just like anything else, just like any church. It requires that. So, but he's giving something of himself, and so he's taking the tools that God has given him in terms of creativity, his desire to get this work out to others and to teach and inspire others how to do it. That's why he wants to create a play, a study guide, audio resources. And so that, again, appealing to all the learners and listeners out there. And we're doing this digitally with the AI Workstation. All the tools that it has to offer, we're going to bring to bear to tackle this project. Will we do it all? Not necessarily. Will he have to do something? Yeah. But this is his playbook. And this is something that he has to go off and look at what's realistic and come back to me and say, hey, this is what I want to do. This is how I want to go forward. And then we need to further refine the plan of, but in terms of bringing this to the group on a weekly basis to see how we're progressing, this is great. This is my nominated project because it has value. Okay, next slide. So when I talk about automation, this is the back end. This is not just something that we want to, even though, I don't like rushing into, I like, if you can conceive it, we can achieve it. And so at the front end, though, when we get this ecosystem, all these products built out, we want to automate that process. We want to welcome, we want to invite them to subscribe to the AI Workstation, the Pastor Freeman app. We want to welcome members to whatever Pastor Freeman, if he decides he wants to white label his app, he can do that. We'll have to have that discussion if he wants to build his app out. But in the meantime, we're going to host it on the AI Workstation. I think the first step is to host it on the AI Workstation, Pastor Freeman, and then decide and move towards building out that. But we can create the bot and your knowledge base. All the works that you have, Pastor Freeman has all the content we ever need to on any subject, any topic that he wants to discuss. And it's just a matter of organizing it. It's just a matter of the time it takes to curate it and load it into a database, into a bot. But it's all there. So all of these things, what I'm saying, I'm trying to give Pastor Freeman a menu of items that he can select from based on our capabilities and our current tools and things that we can do that he can have or be. Okay, next slide.
Okay.
In terms of, once this product is finished, I mean, he can create a bundle for churches of all his products and services. It can create a bundle for the script. At this point, it's just a matter of packaging, period. Once you build it out, now you've built everything out. You have all the digital products and tools and services loaded. You have the URLs to all your marketing videos. You have your monetization aspect built out. You're ready to go. So at this point now, you can just start playing with the products and services, organizing, offer them, add, changing, and delete them as you see fit. But now you have a system. So now we're moving into a system with the AI workstation. And that's where I always go. You got to have the AI system. And that's what we're trying to build towards a system. Everything be taken to a system. So I'm trying to gradually get you there to digital transformation, but everything's going to be automated. At some point, I mean, we can go in and start tracking everything every time a visitor visits that pages. But these are high level AI features and functionalities. It just depends on what you want to pay for, what access, what views you want to have. But I think though, if this, digital transformation is going to be a monetization aspect, and that's going to be part of your world. So you want to try to have it seamless, but you don't want to spend a lot of time managing it. So that's where we're trying to go to, because that's where I'm going. I'm not doing this next year. All right, next slide, Danny. Anyway, this is the last slide. I love this slide because this is a Danny slide. I created this just for Danny. And he'll probably steal it from me.
Absolutely.
But it's building a knowledge-based bot automation bundles, the ecosystem pro. So I took everything and just said, hey, develop me and design me a model, a concept. And so, whether or not I want to build a bot, but everything starts with the ideation, with the big dream generator. So the first step, again, I don't know if whenever I have something I'm struggling with, I called Danny, I said, we need a visioning session. And so the last time we saw a visioning session is nothing but he and I, we go in, sometimes it's late at night, we'll do a Zoom session and we just break out the big idea dream generator. We take the time to try to develop whatever that concept is. And so we do that. What we're saying, we're offering that to you. That's something that you can do yourself. You don't need us to do that. But this is how we get paid. We can take you through the process, but you can go through the big idea generator and just tell it everything that you are trying to do on a large scale with either the play or whatever. And then you take that and then you create the next step by, comparing, contrasting, or adding it and asking one of the other Ask apps or ChatGPT or Claude, whatever you want to do to take that product, you can run it in another model. So, but this is the stuff that Danny and I, we like doing. We like creating new content, creating new concepts. But what I'm trying to do is when we develop these things, develop the automation in parallel. That is the biggest takeaway, I think, from this session, is what I'm trying to bring to this AI workstation, is that early on, we start trying to, in parallel, develop the automation tools in the back end, as well as the front end. Will that take a little bit more time? Yeah, it could. Do we have to necessarily do that step? No, not necessarily. But if at all possible, when we're looking at the ecosystem approach, that is the best way to apply the ecosystem model is the parallel development. That's my concept. That's my thesis, Danny.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thesis.
Well, and it's provable, so it's a good thesis or theory. So I think the things that we'll start with are the obvious, right? I know for a while, Pastor, you've been working on both your book and your play. Is there an update on how far along you are or where you are with those two projects, the core projects?
The book, depending on whatever recommendations that you guys make, that's the feedback I need, is finished. A lot of the data so far as the study guide and all of that stuff, I have printouts on those things. I wanted you guys to view it to see what you think is too much or whatever feedback you had. But I think that part is ready. The play now I'm going to finish because two of the stories are based off of the play. or the play is based off of two of the stories. And so once those have been fully written, now I can move forward. The play is actually written, but for what Joel and I went over, I'm kind of almost rewriting it in the theme because of how AI structured it should be. So I have all the information. I have the play. It's just me taking out scenes, putting in scenes, adding scenes, stuff like that. And so that's where I'm at with the play. But the books, all the stories, I have at least 12 stories that are fully completed, as well as.
Here's what I'm recommending, Danny. I think the first step is the first step. The first step is to build the knowledge base. And so we're going to have to schedule a session, and I can schedule it with Pastor Freeman, where we can start building the knowledge bot, okay, where we're going to load as much data and curate it as possible. And then from there, he can go in and start asking it to refine or generate whatever through whatever other personality or bot we tie it to.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. So you can do that. And then the secondary task, and by the way, Pastor, oops, looks like he had to step out for a second. I'll wait till he gets back.
This is critical. This is very important. Note takers, this is the critical step in building out
I'm sorry.
a whole ecosystem. Welcome back, Pastor Freeman. We were just about to make a critical note in building out an ecosystem because Danny just said something very important.
Okay.
Go ahead.
What you just said?
Well, no, I was saying, I think that building out the knowledge base is the first step from the standpoint there. The great news is, based on where you are right now, we can start building out the rest of the items on the checklist here. So the knowledge base, of course, first, but we can also go to the next step of start putting together the frameworks for your website. We can start putting together the frameworks for the product prototypes, meaning we can start once we build the knowledge base, then we can start building out the other customized AI apps that are going to surround it. So it really is, you have it far enough along. We don't need the absolute finished versions for us to begin the process. So as Joel said, what we do have to do is make some decisions of what are going to be the core ecosystem features that we're going to offer. And yes, in business, there's always, you either have to put time into something or you have to put a little bit of resources, in this case, the resources being money. And so you have to kind of balance out where your time is more valuable. We have two great VAs that we can bring in that can help you, who have done this type of thing for us and can help you work through the details of where you are. So Joel and I can, you can refine with Joel exactly where you want to start or things you want to do first. But no matter which direction you kind of go with, there's some just basic backend things that you're going to need. The knowledge base, the websites. You're going to need us to look at which AI chatbots and features and AI personalities, basic automation, AI automation steps that we need to make sure we get in there. And I tell people all of the time, and Joel mentioned this, it's a matter of what pace you want to go with, right? That's why I said you don't need to wait until you finish writing a book to go ahead and start this building out process of what Joel has laid out beautifully here, right? So you don't have to wait till you're completely ready. Have you made a book cover already?
Yeah, he's done a great job.
That's what I'm saying. So
I was like, whoa, it blew me away.
So again, this is the fun part of building out a website, right? So we can start building out the fundamentals of that. We can start building out the fundamentals. I know Joel and you have spoken, but have you decided, is this going to be a B2C project, meaning you're going to build this out for people to come in and enjoy via your website the products you're selling? Or are you doing a white label of your own? I'm just trying to understand where you guys have been kind of discussing the AI workstation as part of your back end. Joel, have you guys made decisions about that? So if we're going to start with a product-based approach where it is, here's the book, here's the play, here's the surrounding ecosystem products, and go to market with that to start, and then from there, make decisions about other things. Am I correct?
Well, I'm sorry, do you have anything to say? Pastor Freeman?
I'm really, as I told you, I'm a novice at this, so I'm going by you guys' recommendation. I don't really have a preference. I want to be guided by what's the best way, the most
Okay,
feasible way. I'm putting it in you guys' hands.
that's fine. So let me ask you a vision question. From your vision point of view, you want to take this, and as Joel just said, you want to evangelize, you want to have this ministry through these products to go out to the world and say, okay, here's things you can enjoy, but by the way, I'm not while you're enjoying, you're going to learn something.
Right.
But you're going
Absolutely.
to enjoy it. So you're going to take that approach to the world. And so that's the vision is we take these things out to the world and they enjoy it. So that's where you need those basic communication things. And the communication tools that I'm thinking of is the website, the book, the play. Those are the vehicles that you're going to use to reach out to the world. Those are just foundational. And then from there, what Joel is saying is we're building a ministry. Then now you say, okay, we have the basic core products and solutions in the ministry. Now we're going to continue to build on top of that and build out the rest of it. Okay, I think I've got the high level of it. So yes, simple task-based, project-based, if you want, Joel, approach is okay. We know that we have enough of the book to get started. We have enough of the play to get started. So now we're going to look at, yeah, let's get a website up because that is the vehicle that you're going to reach out to everybody else. And you say, okay, how much time and how much resources or money does it take to get a website up and going? So you and I just need to kind of walk through that. Boom, we have one part of the puzzle. Now that people are clicking on the website, they're seeing the book, they're seeing the play. How do they interact with it? How do they get it, right? So now we're talking about that next mechanism. So on the one hand, you have the book, which is a digital product, easy to do. That's a no-brainer. Then you have the play, like you were saying. How do you get the play out to everyone? All right. How are you going to develop that whole side of it with that part of the process? Pastor Freeman says he's already done a few. So again, what's the avenue there? Part of it is marketing, sure, of course, but the other part of it is actually putting the play together, right? Again, outside my expertise, and not going to claim to be an expert in putting on a play. But the model that's been bouncing in back of my head is certainly if you look at anybody who's famous for building out a truly profitable play infrastructure, you immediately start thinking of, okay, so let's see, he's a friend of Oprah. He's now world class, he's got his own studio right down the street from me. It's not far to go to. But I'm just saying, if you want to look at a business model of how to do this, he's the prototype, right? You don't even have to say his name. Everybody knows who I'm thinking of. But that's what I'm saying. So we know that that's there. And matter of fact, hey, if you get it written, I can probably walk it over to the studio and say, hey, I got a really good play for you. You're looking for some ideas. But anyway, I digress. My point is, I do have another customer. Her business is, I think it's FGW Productions. She's a executive producer in California, and she does projects and plays, movies and TV series and things like that. So again, it all works out, right? It all has a path. I'll say to her, hey, we don't know what we're doing. How do we get this out? We have a really good play. What's the mechanism? And are you that mechanism for us? And then again, we network with her. She's thinking about doing a white label, by the way. So my point is, and I'll get her eventually to these Thursday sessions. But I say all of that to say there's things that I know how to do and Joel knows how to do that we can start with. And then once we started with that, then we can work through the next layer and the next layer and the next layer. So those are the simple ways to get started. So we have a project plan, get it on the schedule. It takes 3 weeks to a month to get it done. Boom, we know exactly the path that we're going to take to get that part done. And then we say, okay, let's work on the back end automation. That's all part of that 1 month. I'd say on average, I tell everyone it takes about a week to finish conceptualizing, and then 2 to 3 weeks to build and scale. So it's very easy to do, not complicated. So Joel and I'll get together on that part of it and work on building that out. If we're just doing B2C for right now, Joel, we don't necessarily need to do a white label, but we can talk about whether that makes sense or not. Once you get the book done, we have the whole path to Amazon. That's easy enough to do as well. Books are easy, so I'm not concerned about the book. The play is a little tougher. Like I said, it's just outside of my expertise a little bit. What else am I missing? I think those are the starting points anyway. We do need to get you basics. Do you already own a domain that you had in mind, that you URL domain that you
No.
not the other kind of domain, but the URL domain? Do you already have that? Okay. So we got to come through some concepts there. Again, once you have the overall.
The good news, Pastor Freeman, is that you
Yeah,
can purchase the domains
we have
directly.
an app for that.
So that's awesome.
We actually have an app that can give you ideas. You describe what kind of a domain you'd like, and it gives you domain name ideas. Do you already have a name in your head? We're just going to help get it out of your head and get you a domain bought. Because it's really a matter of, are you going to build your ministry out as the primary branding? And so we can talk about branding. We can talk about that concept. Or are you going to, because you have different products. I always tell everybody this. Your corporation, whether it's a .org or a .llc, doesn't matter to me. Your corporation is you, all right? So your branding around that is you. Then you have products. It's kind of like Google is owned by ABC, right? Is it ABC? I can't remember. And then, that's one. So their product is google.com. And it's the same thing with like Meta, they own Facebook, they own Instagram. So those are their products and solutions. So yours is the book, the play, the guides. So those are two separate things. They're related, but when we're branding it out, we want to give them, you don't have to worry about, you don't have to think as hard. The corporation, the organization is you. So you call it whatever you want to call it. It doesn't affect your branding other than it should be something relatable, of course. All right. So, and then from there, because you know that name already, that name is in your head. That's you. So you call your corporation whatever you want to call it. And then if you don't know how to do the processes of setting up your business, whether it's a .org or a .llc, I got 11 workbooks on the website to read about business formation. So you can kind of do that too. But those are core business steps you have to take no matter what business you're starting. All right, so now let's talk about AI and how AI is going to help you. AI can help you with all of those pieces. We're going to start using and finishing off after we get the website project out of the way. The next thing we're going to start working on is how do we get the word out and how we market it and all that kind of fun stuff. So there's an easy path, and then there's a lot of work as well. So we'll get you going.
All right.
We've got your path.
That's good.
Between Joel
Thank
and
you.
I and our wonderful VAs, we will get you up and going.
Thank you.
It's funny. We'll even put together, we have some new products in there. I know Joel we haven't had time to talk about it. So we can put it on the schedule for next week. But even in the platform itself, we've launched some new tools that will help a lot with the marketing aspect of it. A lot of them live under the new AI apps area here. So we have the super agents, of course, but we've added in an avatar maker. So think of a lot of stuff you see on the Reels, the UGC, user generated content. So now you can make your own avatar. We're adding new tools to this almost daily. It's amazing and a lot of fun. So as I release more, I've got 2 more that I'm going to release that I haven't even put in here yet. The AI avatars is really cool. Let's see if it's in here. Is it in this project? Yeah, I was logged in as Joel. Give me a second. And then we're going to wrap this up. We're already at 4:15, so we're a little over, but not too far.
I haven't seen the avatar, so I'd like to see
Oh, yeah, this is really cool. So you have the ability to create your own, similar to what you had on your website, Joel, but now this is in the platform. So you can write a script, all right? So here's the script. You can pick who you want to deliver the script, meaning you can pick a voice. I have Brenda as the voice, and I have the avatar type from the library. So this is a pre-done one. You can also upload image that you want to use as your avatar, and I'll show you in just a second. So anyway, I have the voice and I have the script, and I can go right from here.
Welcome to Delinda Davis Design. Dreaming of a space that truly reflects your taste and lifestyle? Whether it's a small refresh or a complete home overhaul, start with us. As your designer, my role is tailored to you. Need a simple layout? We've got it. Want in-depth collaboration? I'm here to partner with your team for the best results. Beyond design, I'm a cabinet dealer offering a curated selection.
So first of all, we wrote that script in a couple of minutes. We just ran it through the AI sales coach, and then we picked out the voice that we liked. So this was really just a demo to show Delinda, who is a new customer, how to build out your own avatar. So when you go in and you click the blue button, for some reason you can't read the text in the blue button. The dev guys have to work on that. But anyway, you can go in here and pick the script that you want to use. You can pick the script that you want to use. And so then you go to the voice and you can pick the voices. Some of the voices are ones that you've seen before, like Sarah. I've used her many times. You can also create your own voice clone. So now your avatar can speak with your voice, right? So this is all new stuff. This is where it's fun. You can teach it how to speak like you. Now, if you want to do that, it is $4.99 a month, which is new. We really have never had a subscription model as obvious as this, but this is a little bit different, and it is specifically for this app. It's the only place that we have this so far. So anyway, $4.99 a month, and you can create your own voice clone. If you don't, just use one of the ones that are in here, and it'll generate it based on using credits, just like any of the other newer apps that we have. So you can pick a voice, and Brenda's down here somewhere.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Sitting by the lake, the water reflecting the
So
sky.
it's
In
kind
a
of
world
fun.
that often feels fast.
But if you can upload your own voice, then of course you have that effective way to communicate with the solution. Let me go back up here, find Brenda. I know we need a search function on this, but anyway, there's Brenda. So I can grab Brenda and continue the avatar. The next thing is you can go in and pick your size, square, landscape, portrait. As you pick the different sizes, it changes the image a little bit. But generally speaking, these are the pre-built avatars. And then if you want to use your own avatar, you would have to upload an avatar, generate an avatar. So they give you a lot of options to be able to do that. When they say upload an avatar, they're really just saying upload a picture of what you want it to start from. I haven't even had time to do that. This is how new this is. But I have been playing with the built-in avatars. And what I found is depending on the size you pick, you're going to get a different view of the avatar. So for example, in the square avatar, she's a little bit underclothed for my taste. But again, if you're going after the younger generation market, you might have her be a little bit showing a little cleavage there. But obviously for Pastor, that would not be a good idea. But if you go into the landscape or the portrait mode, she's fully covered. So that's what I mean by which avatar you pick and which shape you pick, you get a slightly different view. So this guy here is, when you look at him here, he's in a portrait mode, but you can go down to, if you go to landscape, he's behind a desk. So that's a nice, if you want to use a guy with a beard, he's, I guess, I would say Asian Pacific somewhere. All right. And then so you have different looks and feels based on the size and the shape of what you're picking. So it's easy to kind of find someone who's Reels friendly or Instagram friendly or TikTok friendly, if that's your target audience, right? So you want them to deliver the message for your solution. So obviously a young Black lady would be perfect for one of your plays, having her deliver the message. But again, you can get your avatar up there of yourself, get your voice in there and work on it. To me, it's a kind of a trial and error thing to find the right image. And so when you do it, I recommend that you don't have your hands visible. So, keep your hands out of the way, because AI always has a trouble with hands. And then have it like you're sitting in a still place so that you can get a good image that it can then, because really you want it to focus all of its efforts on animating your face. So you want to have it kind of focused on that. So again, those are my suggestions. And so this is kind of fun. So this is the one of the newest tools. And then from there, once you've picked your avatar, you know what you want, then you just go to generate that. And since I only have one sentence in there, it'll only cost me 12 credits. And you can generate it and it's on its way. So it really will not take long to do one sentence. But you get the idea as you work with this app a little bit. I've been playing really just very little because I want her to announce some of the new things that I'm getting ready to launch. So while she's generating that one, I will show you this one. This one's called LeadBiz.ai. This is my latest and greatest toy. It is a truly amazing agentic sales assistant. Initially, it's going to focus on email, but eventually it'll also do text and it'll also do voice. So right now I'm testing it. I've got a little under 1,000 contacts that I'm playing with. All I'm asking it to do right now in this version is send out an email inviting people to my next Tuesday AI in 1 hour webinar, just to kind of remind people that it's happening and get them to come out to it. And it's funny because even out of this, I'm getting the return rate is phenomenal. And the reason why it's phenomenal is because each email subject line is different. So when you do an email blast in any static tool, you're going to get the same subject line going out to everybody. The rest of the subject line is exactly the same. So what happens is the Gmails and Outlooks of the world immediately know this is spam. And if they don't put you in the spam folder, they definitely don't put you in the inbox. So that's why you have such a poor open rate. Whereas with this tool, because every subject line and the content of the email is also different, right? So this is, hi, Jeffrey, hope the message finds you well. I notice you previously registered for, and so I gave it a prompt, mega prompt, if you will, that kind of walked through what I'd like it to try to do. And from there, it is now going through and giving it to each individual user. These are the ones that have been going out. And what it is going to, so this one, I hope this message finds you well. I notice you previously, so it's similar, but not exactly the same. If I look at the other version of this task, and when I run this task, I'm trying to find if I put it away. I might have put it away. What's fun is that one I'm driving people to a one-on-one appointment. You probably have gotten an email, maybe not, because you're in Joel's AI Workstation group. But in my group of BuildBiz customers, it's linked directly into my Stripe account, and it is offering everyone a one-on-one to talk about our accelerated program. So that's where Joel and I, where you are right now. You're getting ready to accelerate your business, right? And so I'm inviting existing BuildBiz customers to that. And Joel's going to do the same thing with his couple of thousand customers that he has. He's going to use this exact same system to re-excite his base, because that's one of the challenges we have. You reach out, you do an email blast, but nobody gets it. Or if they do get it, it's in the other folder, which I personally get thousands of emails, so I never even read my other folder. If it's not in my inbox, I don't even see it anymore. So that's what we're fighting to do. We're fighting to get back into the inbox, and then we'll be able to do texting. We'll be able to do voice, all from this platform. And it's smart enough that it can book an appointment. It can look at your calendar, book your appointment for you. You don't have to interact with it at all. So the great thing about it is it's doing this as it warms up my email. It's doing it slowly, carefully, so my email doesn't lose its reputation. This is a brand new database, a brand new MX server, a new email server. And so it's doing it slowly and carefully. And when it has, let me see if I can find, I want to show you the example quickly, and then we'll get off this call. Hold on a second. I have another one that I built out. This is using the original Lead Falcon. And so Lead Falcon is a different, totally different domain. Joel will have his own as well, because you can white label it, by the way. This is where the fun comes in. So you can, started testing here, was having conversations with my customer base, right? So here's a Stripe customer. This is what I mean by having a conversation that I don't even have to get involved in. This is Imani. She was using it. She is an Urban Tech white label user. So I enjoyed it very much. I wish I could still access it. I plan to purchase it, but I can't log in. So then it suggested she reach out to get a support call. So again, I didn't touch this. The AI agent did this by itself. And so this is where, you can, this one here led to a meeting. Again, it's communicating back and forth with these people. I was testing this with my wife's email, and she responded back, yes, I like the platform. It said, that's fantastic. Is it okay if I use your comments in a review on the website? She said, yes, you can share my comments. And yes, I'd like to schedule a call. It send out the open dates based on my calendar. It gave her 2 to 2:30 as an option. She said 2:30 is fine. It was smart enough to adjust and then send out the meeting invite for 2:30 instead of 2 o'clock. So that's what I mean by agentic approach. So we're getting ready to launch this. Joel's going to have his own version of it. What's also fun for you guys is it's free to sign up. You don't have to pay any monthly subscription. You only pay on a usage model. And the usage model is super simple to understand. It's two basic prices in it. If I look at the wallet here, you load it up and then you have these are regular emails, which I have not used, are 0.0000975, so essentially 97 cents per 1,000, I think it is. And then this one is, your cost is, by the way, 4 cents per email, and you can sell it for whatever you want, right? You are the white labeler. So it's 4 cents per email for the agentic agent to use it. So why would you pay money for email? Well, it's simple. Do you actually want to get the email delivered? And do you want to do it by yourself? Again, time or money, right? So you can send out 1,000 emails one at a time and reply to them, or you can have the agent do it and have it cost you, 4 cents an email. So it's almost a no-brainer for me. The one thing I don't have is time. Anyway, I'll just show you.
Danny, 2 questions. So is this app, can you load it on the AI workstation? And
Yeah. You could, again, we're going to want to do all of the above, meaning that when I launch this next week, I'm just going to have it be an external app that it goes to the website automatically with a video link. And then secondly, we'll also start working on, because what I've seen with it so far in my quick tests, you can definitely embed it into the platform. It will be in the platform, AI Workstation platform. And that's why I said you're going to want to create your own, Joel, for AI Workstation, and call it whatever you want to call it. You're going to need another domain, right? Or, something like mail.aiworkstation.ai or something if you want to put it under the AI Workstation brand. I created a new one because I wanted to. This is going to be almost bigger than the platform because it's going to be huge because everybody can use this. This is not just for any one type of customer. And beauty of it is you don't have to do any lift, right? It is get the configuration setting up and going, and you can run this tomorrow. There is instant access to it. And because it doesn't cost anything, there's no pushback from anybody that, hey, I got to pay money to use this. No, you don't. You use it, you pay as you go.
It can access all your email accounts, domains, Gmail.
Just import it. No, that's a good question. So today it can only do Google. In a couple of weeks, however long, the dev team, they'll add more email servers like Outlook and so on. But for right this second, just grab a Google server, have Google. You can drop it in right tomorrow, connect Google to it. Boom, it's on its way.
Okay.
If you don't have Google, then you're going to just have to wait a little bit. But it's up to you on where you are. But as of today, it's only Google. And the reason for it is, number one, Google is cheaper. People like it. It's like $6 or $9 a month or something. And then it's fast and easy to set up. You can integrate it with anything. Bottom line, that's why people like it. It's super fast and easy.
Okay, thanks.
So you can actually drop your Stripe right in it. So like I've connected my Stripe, I've connected my original platform, I've got my Google Calendar, and I'm ready to go. And as soon as I did all of that, it immediately started sending out emails. I did this at 1:30 in the morning, and so far it sent out 250 emails with a 38% open rate, which, by the way, if anybody who's done email blast knows, that's a ridiculously high rate. It's just a ridiculous rate. Now, my list is very clean, so I'm not going to get any bounce backs, right? I could get, of course, unsubscribes, but so far I have not. But this list is very clean. I have about 7,500 total contacts in my email list. So I'm starting with a small group to test, and that's what I'm doing right now. I'm just testing it, letting it run, just reminding people about my project. I've got sample scripts. It's really simple. Like, for instance, I'm not even using my calendar in this because I'm not asking it to set a calendar appointment for me. All I'm asking it to do is write a creative email around this content, right? You are a high converting AI sales assistant trained in digital, right? Simple prompt, but I gave it things that it could suggest. And so it'll rotate these and pick and choose what it wants to do in each email. Because you notice the email that it's sending is much shorter than this, because it's not taking everything literally from here. It's mixing and matching based on what I asked it to do. And then you are not introducing something brand new. You're showing them how to finally capitalize on the moment. So this is for a previously signed, these are people who previously signed up for my AI webinar. So I got about 1,000 in that email list. And so you already took the first step. Now's the time to leverage, and so push the conversation forward, stay focused on the invite, and always help them imagine the transformation. So it's writing each email custom for each person. And then if they reply, then it'll reply with a custom response as well. If you use traditional email marketing tools, you have a beginning trigger, here, do this next, do this next, do this next. So it's very structured. This, no structure. You tell it the goal and you tell it how you want it to do it. Say, hey, don't contact them more than 2 times, and it won't do it, right? If they say, go away, it'll stop. That kind of thing. The AI itself is trained, the agent itself is trained to do this one task. So that's why it's going to be a lot of fun, because it's pretty powerful.
Yes.
It's going to be powerful.
Yeah.
So,
Super.
all right. Any other questions? And Pastor Joel will get back with you. We're just going to brainstorm really quickly on what's the starting set of products and solutions that you need. What level of automation do you need to get started? We'll build that out quickly for you. And then we'll go ahead and observe and we'll circle back around in the OODA loop and kind of branch out and make it bigger from there. All right.
Great. Well, I want to thank you both for your expertise and your dedication. I'm grateful. I thank you. And I'm at your service. Whatever you guys recommend, I'm ready.
Yeah, I just did another nonprofit org. So I have that in my head as far as how we can put the packaging together for you very quickly. So it shouldn't be a problem. And the primary VA I'm thinking is Joel's VA, Tina. She's very familiar with the whole space. And so I think she'll be able to knock this out in a very short period of time. Anything else, Joel?
No, that's it. I'll give you if you're available tomorrow morning, Pastor Freeman.
Yes, I'll make myself available. Just tell me when, and we'll get started. And again, thank you, Joel. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you both.
No worries. All right, Keisha.
Bye, Keisha.
All right. Take care.
Thank you, Keisha. Thank you,
Everybody.
Keisha. Call me anytime.
Okay, I definitely will.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.